We'll go ahead and take off the caliper. Anytime before you take the wheel off, just go ahead and check the end play and check the bearing for any kind of roughness. And anyway, you're going to put your indicator right here and set it to 0. There's a lot of ways you can do this, but I sit there, use a bar, and I push it all the way back to the other side. And then I come around here, double check my 0. You're shooting for 2 to 6. I've got it turned to this side, that way it's against the neck stop. And this thing's too tight. Whoever he had put that front tire on. Didn't set that correctly. Kind of thought that when doesn't freewheel as much as it should. Alright, you're going to take your 9/16 wrench and your 5/16 Allen and break loose. You don't have to take it all the way out. And then just get you a screwdriver. I got this punch. Just get her started. And then just hold up on the tire. Now you're going to take these bolts out for the fender. Now you don't have to do one side at a time. You don't have to take the fender off. And you just rebuild or replace the seals on one side. Put it back on. Go to the other side. You don't want your paint sitting around somewhere. It might get a scratch on it. Then you can get a scratch sitting there too. Alright, so now we're going to take the slider off. Just put it in some kind of whatever you got, vise or something. You're going to turn it like this. You're going to take a punch, put some tape around it. That's what I do. You might have something else. But go ahead and start working your boot off. Slide it out the way. I just get you a little flathead or something, pop out the little retainer ring for the seal, like so. Now we're going to go ahead and soak the slider. It's pretty grody inside. I'm going to check the bushings and stuff, but we're going to soak it in the parts washer. Check the old M74B carburetor. This carburetor from a 1950 I'm restoring. Just tore it apart. Let it soak before I clean it up. But if y'all like that kind of stuff, be sure to subscribe. Alright, we got the parts. And we're go ahead and show y'all, you know, what you're looking for on these bearings to see when they're wore out. Wow, I got an extra one. That's cool. There's actually only supposed to be one in that package, and Harley Davidson accidentally put 2 in there. That's good. Okay. Anyway, so like you see, all right. You notice how on this one it doesn't have this coating anymore. It's down to the copper, brass, bronze, whatever the hell it is. But you got to understand that that coating is put on or around steel, okay? And so if you let it wear down to too far, I mean, this one right here, it was pushing it. I mean it was it's a good thing I went ahead and pulled these apart. And they got to understand, I didn't have this bike for 7 years. I got it back. All right, now all you got to do is get something just to pry this thing apart and slide it over. Now putting the other one on, you want to be real gentle. You don't want to bend it or whatever. Let's clean up some of this trash off of it. As you can see, these it's not much to forks. They're really pretty simple. All right, now we're gonna pull the cap off the tube. And you got to be kind of careful because these are under pressure. This thing pop out of there, kill everybody big enough to die. All right, we'll go ahead and get the dampener out, clean it up, and we're gonna run a rag down inside here, get all the funk out. Now I just have, I do gunsmithing work, so I've got a cleaning rod right here, which you can use anything, a stick or whatever. All right, I'll go ahead and clean this up. Now one other thing that you're going to want to check is the straightness of your fork tube. Now you're going to have to get some kind of precision straight edge. You know, it doesn't have to be super precision because it can be out a little bit, but maybe you can borrow one from a machine shop, or you can just take it to a machine shop, have them do it. Now, I look good right there. You start off with the your hole for your fluid right here facing up, then go ahead and we're going to index it 90 degrees, and that's all you got to do is check them 2 points for straightness. Put it up here. You're looking good. You know, if you're not noticing any kind of, your front end's always kind of cattywampus, no matter how you align the rear wheel, you're probably gonna be okay. But I'm looking good. I'm gonna get it put back together. The other thing that you want to do before you put this all back together is you need to check your copper crush washer that goes on the bolt at the bottom of your fork tube. And if it's, really deformed a lot and crushed a lot, go ahead and replace it. Been soaking in the parts washer. So you put your dampener in, put a little cap on the end of it. Now you want to make sure, this is what they taught me at the factory, but the split on your bushing is supposed to go to the outside of the slider like this. I really don't know if it matters, it's just what they said. And slide that in there like so. Then we'll go ahead and set it up in the vise and put the screw in it. Bolt. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and you take your new upper bushing, put it in like so. That should do it. Alright, now once you get the bushing in, you're going to set your spacer right in there. You're going to pull your seal down on there, get it started. Now, you can do this. I'm going to use I've got a Matco motorcycle seal installer. That's what I'm going to use. But you can go to a hardware store, get you a piece of PVC pipe and put it over top of it and drive it down in there. You don't have to have no high dollar crap like that. But I needed it back when I worked as a motorcycle mechanic at Bumpus. So, alright, I'm going to hook it up. We'll put that seal in there and finish up. Alright, now I've got my seal installer on here, and it's a Matco 400H. If you may want to get one of these. If you do this for a living, you didn't know they had these. It actually makes it where I don't even have to take the fork tube off the triple trees. But anyway, so let's go ahead. I'm just going to sit there and tighten this up so it don't fall. Pull it on down. That should be it. Then we'll put our retaining ring in there. We'll double check. But right now, you're just gonna put on your little retaining ring, spread that out. Get one side started. Pop it on down in there. Good to go. Alright, then you got your dust boot. Make sure you clean it up real good before you Slide it back on here. And these you can just pull them down. Got your little chrome cover. And just. Alright. Now the next thing we're going to do, we're going to spring in, put the fluid in, put the cap on. Now we got it filled up with oil, and in my application it was 10.5 ounces. We'll go ahead and put the spring in. Now the progressive wound part of it is for the bottom. It's going to be skinnier. If you measure the top and the bottom skinnier. So I'm going to slide that in there just like that. I've already replaced the seal on my fork cap. Comes in the kit with the seals, so might as well put it on. Now this right here is a little tricky. They told us you're supposed to torque these down to 14 foot-pounds. I'm gonna be honest with you, I ain't never done it. Just tighten the hell out of it. Alright, we're gonna put it back in there. Just ease it up in there. Pull my cable out of the way. And then we snug up the clamp. Now you want to make sure this is, you got about a 1/2 inch sticking up, but we'll snug this up a little bit and then do it. Now I'll go ahead and I'll put a bolt through the slider into the fender. This gives me a little bit of support so that I can set this where it's supposed to be. It needs to be right at a 1/2 inch. And then we'll double check it and then I'll torque them down. That's good. Alright, now we go ahead and torque the pinch bolts. 25 to 30. I set mine at 25. I'm going to do this one exactly the same way as I did the other one. And you know, it's important to make sure that your front end is in good shape. I mean, actually my bushings were getting pretty close. I mean, it was on their last leg. Should have done it when I got the bike back from the guy I sold it to, but I didn't. I waited till the tire wore out. So the key is when it gets down, when that bearing material wears off and it gets down to the steel, then the steel starts going up and eating away at the aluminum, because that's what it rides on, the aluminum slider inside. It's fitted into that. What happens then is you start to get deflection in your front slider, and so that creates a wobble in your wheel, which can end up, you know, throwing your ass off and killing you stone cold dead. But having a tight front end, checking your wheel bearing in play, I'll click a link. I'm going to post a video about that. That's another critical issue, often overlooked by a lot of people. I hate to say it, but by a lot of mechanics who are trying to work book time. You know, they got to get the job done, they cut corners. So also your rear swing arm, all these are key elements that you want to stay on top of to make sure that your ass doesn't splat on the asphalt and get run over by 18 wheeler doing 80. So I'm going to get this one done, then I'm going to head up to the house. I'm going to give you a cold beer. I'm in here. I'll see you on the next one.